Okay, and here we are again with another Marvel figure, but this time it's not going to be Hasbro. This is my very first MAFEX figure, and this time it's Psylocke, because I likes the ladies. So sorry, I just do. And she's one of my favorites, and from an era where I absolutely loved her. I know it's not quite the same Elizabeth Braddock that everything kind of sort of started with, and her story just devolves into all kinds of insanity, but this is a version I absolutely love, and it looked, at least on the surface, like a really, really cool figure, kind of sort of on the pricey side, so I don't know that I can do many of these MAFEX types, but yeah, let's see if she worked the bread. What do you say? Let's get her out the box. Oh my god, super psychic powers unite and fight for the right as one. Okay, she's out of the box. Which, by the way, this is the box. I forgot to show the back. And I just knocked her over the side. And another side. Yes, it's all kinds of pretty. And I knocked her the floor. I also have these weird holograms all over it, I guess, to make sure that you have an authentic MAFEX box. It's not some rip-off version. Put her back up against the wall. Nobody backs my Psylocke against the wall. So, my gosh, the number of accessories she comes with is insane. Also, kind of sort of worth the monies. I mean, I'm going to start here just real briefly. Is you get a stand. I guess so you can pose her in all kinds of stuff, but you get like a base with this pole and this jointed pole and 3 claws. So 1 claw and half a claw and this claw or clamp or wood, whatever. So you get a really cool stand. I can see now why a lot of people talk about that a lot. Moving over. Now let's talk about the incredible amount of armory we have here. So this version of Psylocke comes with a severed head. For those of you who like gore, focus. She's kind of mean in this one, and has a swishy hair. She's like a ghost. So yeah, severed head. You get this alternative waistband thing that has the sheath to the swords, and I've seen other reviews of this enough to know that I hate this camera, where I can't explain it, but they've instead of giving you an actual proper sheath to the sword, it's got like a little hole. Some mirror when that shows up. Anyway, it gives you a hole where you could put the hilt. You could pop the hilt off of these scabbards, and it's just a little nubbins, and you just insert that in your bunghole. No, you insert that right in the shaft. Yeah, I'm sorry, that already sounded bad as I was saying it, and then, hey, there you go. Good Lord. Anyway, so yeah, you could put that into the back as such. Oops. Maybe they're directional. Yeah. Boom. Yay. It's sheathed when it's actually not. So yeah, you've got that, and you get 2 of these, by the way. So 2 of these faux sheathed swords. Whatever, guys. And it's no wonder people click through my shist. So you also get 2 actual katana, which are, very well designed, a little wobbly, but not rubbery. So it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm not surprised this is not showing up. I mean, it's...
Jesus Christ!
Let's try this. I think sometimes it just doesn't like the lack of light shining to it. I want it to get detail and contrast. See, like that. So beautiful, beautiful sword. Beautiful sword, man. And you get energy effects of various kinds, like this punch blast. Kind of very reminiscent of Marvel versus Capcom or Marvel Superheroes. And it has like even a little fake version of her hand down in there. But yeah, you get punch blasts, 2 of them. You get her Psy sword or Psy knife, and very well detailed. And once again, has a faux version of her hand in there. It's kind of cool. And then you get, I guess she's using her telepathy powers, or it's a psychic buzzsaw, whichever suits your preference. It's a choose your own adventure kind of thing. And then she comes with a set of 4 different hands than the relaxed hand she currently has. So she has the grippies. Okay, she has the fisties. Jeez, can't talk today. The fisties, because when you want to get fisted, this is the way to do it. And you get jazz hands for those who want her nice, figure musicals. And then you get the the 2-fingered fingerings, obviously for telepathy or ninjutsu or whatever you want it to be, bro. So you get a lot of them, get a lot of hands. And so we shall now take a look at the figure. All right, having a look, grabbing her. Now, I've noticed already, just in taking her out of the box, she's very loose. The joints are loose. I'm trying to get more light on her. I wish I could permanently say, hey, you know what? I only want this range. So, a very placid look to her face. She's got this beautiful, shiny, metallic, almost what I would call R2-D2 blue. It was a very specific blue that I absolutely loved as a kid. It became my favorite color of all time. I think it's why I just love the color blue, and I blame R2-D2, because of course I do. Beautiful head sculpt that you can't see because it's blurry, and of course it is because it's my camera after all, and why on earth would it ever want to do me any such favors as to being in focus? You daft, dirty piece of machinery. You bloated sack of technology. Get a... so, yeah, got stripes everywhere, 2 different leg sculpts. And as far as articulation, oh yeah, she can bend her legs. The feet, actually not so much, really. But the toes bend, yay. And no rocker, really. I mean, I guess kind of does. At least on the inside, but not so much on the outside, but serviceable. No thigh swivel, that's surprising, or calf swivel, which you could have done. Like, see where it cuts here? You could have easily made it swivel. But, I mean, you get, I guess you get some sort of, you really get no swivel. I mean, that's the extent of your movement. But the legs can go way, way back and way, way forward. She can do the splits to right about there. Which is weird, isn't it? They are sort of drop down hips. They do drop down ever so slightly. A lot of waist movement, waist swivel from the 2 joints here and the chest joint. She does have butterflies, so she can go back, she can go forward. They're double. Now this is the thing that kind of irks me. So yeah, she has pinless, double-jointed elbows, but they're useless. So for the very first time in the history of figurdom, at least my figures, the there's no point to having a double jointed elbow because it does not allow you to go past barely past 90 degrees. So you might as well just have been a single joint elbow. So she can't really, she can kind of touch her hair, I guess, but to me that seems kind of sort of disappointing for the amount you pay for this. I mean, Jeepus Christ. I would have expected to be able to, for that price, I could have gotten another TB League figure. You know what I mean? And could have posed it and photographed it in so many beautiful ways. In terms of her head, the neck is on some kind of a ball joint, but it doesn't seem to have a whole huge range of motion. So she can definitely look down, but looking up obviously is going to be a chore because of the hair. Now, if you could somehow get the hair out of the way, you could do it. But I mean, she could turn to the side, and other side, and she can come and kiss the camera. Whatever. Yeah, so just a little wonky. You get a lot of gaps when posing, and very loose. Like I've noticed that the joints are all loose. Things pop off easily. It definitely has that boba milk tea girl snail shell feel to the figure, in my view. I mean, it's expressive. I mean, you can get her and, like, say, what? What did you say to me? I will carve out your name. I will carve out... I don't know where I was going with that joke. So it's dead. That joke is dead. Deader than dead is dead. All right. Enough of my blabber. So let's throw on some accessories. See what she looks like. Well, I put some of the accessories on her. It's actually fairly easy to put on the character. And like I said, she's standing without the stand, so she does stand on her own. But yeah, so it's not exactly obvious which hand you're supposed to put these things on. But they do fit and have their own little twirliness to them. But yeah, the sword, fits just fine in her hands. She can properly side kick, Japanese style, right into your face. But, this belt being so loose and goose. I mean, this belt is cool, and I wouldn't mind using it. But, I mean, when I put it on the shelf, that means she's going to take up, this much space, from the sides. And that's going to make things difficult. And, well, I don't like things to be difficult. I don't. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Sort of kind of a disappointment to me for some reason. I mean, I guess, I'm not used to MAFEX, and maybe that's what it is. I first learned about it when I saw their Spider-Man, which looked really, really cool, but I was not going to pay that price for Spider-Man. But in some respects, like I said, I love the figure in the sense that the design of her, the feminine qualities of it, she doesn't look overly cartooned like you often see with Marvel Legends. So I do kind of like it better than Marvel Legends. She's very, very beautiful, and I'm sure she'll pose quite well, and I'm sure she'll photograph quite well. But I just kind of wish for the price it was a little more solid in a way. She's very loosey. Like I don't really like it when the figures can be taken apart so quickly and so easily. It's like, oh, you weren't thinking properly, and so then you just went, oh no, it broke off, and oh, there goes your arm, and oh look, she just fell apart. What happened to my body? Okay. So I mean, it's kind of sort of designed for you to take it apart, but it's I don't know, guys. That I don't know. I guess that's cool if you really, really, truly dig taking stuff apart and putting them together in all sorts of weird ways. I mean, that's cool. It's better than, say, Valiverse, which, you need to be Superman in order to tear apart and break. Yeah. So let's just move on with comparisons. All right. So here's our first comparison here with Marvel Legends, Dark Phoenix, and Firestar, who's leaning a bit weirdly. So it's hard to. There we go. So how she scales up? She scales up pretty well to Marvel Legends. In fact, I would almost say that that's kind of sort of the point that MAFEX might have been going for, is they know darn well you were going to pair them up with pre-existing, unless, MAFEX is going to do the entire library of, Marvel characters, which I doubt. So they're going to be picky and choosy, in my opinion. And this, I think, works out really well. The same kind of body build, the same sort of thinness where it needs to be thin and thickness where it needs to be thick. Yeah, if I just posted this like this and you didn't even know this was MAFEX, you might even say, that's Hasbro. No, it's not. It's not Hasbro. So I think it pairs up really well, and but definitely better with that nice metallic look. And we'll move on to some more stuff. Probably going to stick with Marvel here real quick. All right, next up we have Amazing Spidey and his friend Spider-Man, and some version of Wolverine. And weirdly, Wolverine is maybe a little too tall. He doesn't 100% scale well. I guess it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. How short is Psylocke compared to the rest of the people? Because clearly Spider-Man is taller. So maybe this does scale well and I'm just being silly. What do you think? What? No? I don't know. Let's see a few more and see how that scales out. All right, and here we have Iceman and Iron Man. And yeah, they are taller. I would say Iceman's a lot taller than, say, Iceman is in comparison. So again, I think that scales relatively well. Yeah, I'd say she fits in great with all the regular the mush mouth. I have the mush mouth. Anyway, let's move on to some other lines. All right, and so for our next comparison, we have Killswitch from Valaverse, and we have the Baroness from g.i.joe Classified. So in comparison, Psylocke is shorter, and isn't 100% matched up. Her head's very small in comparison to the others. So again, even though the body's kind of fit, but the head doesn't. So, human beings can be varied and different from person to person. So, choose your own adventure. But to me, that doesn't really match up. I think she's just going to have to live in the Marvel world. All right, this about wraps up my review on the MAFEX Psylocke. Here she is battling ninjas from g.i.joe Classified. And since we're not really dealing with human proportions per se, this matchup is perfectly fine. And will she win? Well, considering the amount of the Foot Clan she's put into the dirt, I'd say... No, the hand. Where's the foot? Man, I don't know. I get my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and my Marvel Comics all kinds of mixed up. It's what happens when you get old, man. You mix things up. It's like a soup or a salad or something. Man, something wrong with my brain. Anyway... there you have it. So, I think it's on to the photos. But we don't know because apparently no one seems to really stick around for the photos. And I do all that hard work for nothing. Oh well, still going to do it though. Bye.